Amazon Game Studios have officially given up both Lost Ark and Throne and Liberty, transitioning both games back to their official developers. First and foremost, we want to extend our sincere thanks to every adventurer who has supported and stood alongside Lost Ark West over the years. We are also deeply grateful for the time we spent working with Amazon Games to introduce and operate Lost Ark for all of you. Now, admittedly, Amazon Games didn't do the worst job. There have been numerous different publishers that have been exponentially worse. But at the same time, just because they aren't the worst doesn't mean they didn't do poorly. I've opted here to go on over to the official NCSoft and the official Stove website. So we're looking at the confirmation from the perspective of each respective developer rather than Amazon themselves. For us, Lost Ark has never been just a project. It's a world we have spent years building and a story we've grown alongside. That adventurers in the West have shared in this world, which began in Korea, has always been a tremendous source of strength for us. Although I will point out, Amazon releasing both games, Lost Ark having what, 1.2 or 1.7 million concurrent players, and Throne and Liberty having hundreds of thousands of players. All of this was really only possible as a direct consequence of Amazon publishing the game. If it were anyone else, if NC published it themselves, they wouldn't have done nearly as good. If Smilegate had published Lost Ark on their own, it probably also wouldn't have done nearly as well. We want to build a structure that lets us hear your voices more closely and act on them more quickly. This decision comes from a simple wish we have as a development studio to take responsibility for the game we made through the end with our own hands. Going forward, we'll review the feedback you share with us more quickly and more thoughtful. Well, I mean, that makes sense because you guys are going to be self-publishing the game now, and continue to accelerate the pace at which needed improvements are reflected in the actual game, which again is great because you are now the publisher for the game. We also promise to expand the ways we communicate, set our thoughts and our own deliberations as developers can travel back and forth more closely to come to you more often and more openly. Our goal is to make sure that within this world we have built, adventurers can find greater joy, form deeper bonds, and create even more lasting memories. To achieve that goal, we'll give our unwavering best. Concerning future content, there have been long stretches where each new raid, each new class, each new story revealed in Korea was something you could only watch from a distance. And I think this is one of the issues that MMOs, not just MMOs, but also gacha games have run into, where they release in Japan, Korea, or China, and then a year later, we get it globally. You have these dungeons, these raids, these classes, all of this content that you're seeing released that other regions are getting to play, and you're wondering to yourself, God damn, when do we get to play this? I'm very excited, but by the time it comes out, I might not even be playing the game anymore. Because the Western release cadence differed, raid strategies were often public by the time content arrived, which also did remove that sense of wonder from the game, because everyone has already done it. Everyone has already cleared the content, and there are guides and everything up for it, which took much of the joy out of solving a raid for yourselves. Exactly. And when updates like gear transfer or honing improvements were announced, the progress you were making at that moment could suddenly feel meaningless. We have never taken lightly what it meant to watch Korean server footage in the community and ask over and over, when do we get this? That's why we're working to gradually bring our content update timing closer to the Korean service, with the ultimate goal of making it possible for you to play the same content at the same time. They're going to synchronize the content cadence. They're going to catch us up, fast track us to the point where we are now synchronized with Korea. That is a fantastic decision. I really do genuinely hope that they can pull this off. That said, we do not intend to close this gap all at once. If we try to force our accumulated distance shut in one stroke, we believe it could put real strain or progression on the rhythm at which you enjoy new content. So you just, I think, shrink it, have seasons released at faster intervals. So rather than rushing to erase the gap, we want to narrow it step by step carefully while paying close attention to how you actually play. This is not an easy undertaking. Development, translation, localization, and balance adjustments all have to be aligned within a single pipeline, and internally, we're still working through a great deal of deliberation, trial, and error. We're taking it on anyway because we want to reach a point where you are no longer left waiting on news out of Korea. This transition is no small challenge for us either. We chose this path because as a developer, we want to deliver the most sincere service we can directly. Well, I mean, you either do this or you don't do it. You either do this or you lose the cash cow that is global, right? They're your two options. That is Lost Ark. I actually think this is fantastic news. It is great. I've worked with Smilegate on Lost Ark. I've actually worked with Smilegate more recently on their gacha games, Epic 7 and Chaos Zero Nightmare, and they are very talented. They are very easy to work with. and I have no qualms with them taking over directly from Amazon, and I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that they're going to do a fantastic job when it comes to publishing the global version as well. Yo, I don't mean to interrupt the video, but I need to take a moment here to thank all my incredible patrons over on Patreon whose support continues to allow for me to do regular videos like this every single day on this channel. Thank y'all so much, including our YouTube channel members. You guys mean the world to me. So do you guys as viewers as well. Now, without further ado, let's continue. Let's take a look at the official NCSoft announcement, though. Today, we're pleased to announce that we've agreed to transition the global service previously operating in partnership with Amazon Game Studios. Both companies are currently working closely on technical and operational preparations with the goal of completing the service migration in the fourth quarter of 2026. For years, Throne and Liberty has been shaped by an incredible community under Amazon Game Studios. Through every expansion, challenge, and victory, your passion has helped make Throne and Liberty far more than a game. It has become a world where people care deeply about. As the creators of Throne and Liberty, we believe this is the right time to take a more direct role in supporting the game and helping shape its future. We've always believed in this world, and we remain deeply committed to its long-term success. In the months ahead, our focus will be simple: listen carefully and communicate openly to continue strengthening the world that so many players call home. We encourage you to join our newsletter and check back here often for next steps. Through the transition, existing players using Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation platforms will experience no changes to their current gameplay, environment, and accounts assets. Purple NC's platform will also be added to our unified game environment. Players across all platforms will still be able to work together. So they have game data and asset preservation, continuation of account access, service transition portal, and that is it. That is it. So on the one hand, you have Smilegate, who said, hey, we're taking control of the game back. We are going to be much more open, much more transparent, and much more communicative with our community, our players. Here is what is effectively a roadmap of content where not only are we going to catch players up, the global version of the game up with Korea, but we're also going to be making improvements. Throne and Liberty, and no shade to NCSoft here. I've worked with NCSoft for, I feel like, every MMO they have ever released. No shade thrown at NCSoft, but this right here has very little, if any, information at all. We don't know what they plan on doing with Throne and Liberty when they regain full control over it, but maybe over the next few days, the next few weeks, they'll elaborate a little bit. I'm hoping they do, because Smilegate here with Lost Ark, that was a banger announcement. That was the kind of announcement, it's a kind of PSA that you want when a decision of this magnitude is made. This right here is just, hey, we're working to get this done this year, so be on the lookout for more info. That isn't very, I think, conducive to a healthy, trustworthy transition of accounts, of power, of just the entire development and publishing process. But at the same time, I feel like NCSoft aren't really going to have any trouble with it. They have Ion 2 coming, so they're going to be working on Ion 2, Throne and Liberty, and then they're also working with ArenaNet on Guild Wars 3, so they have their work cut out for them. They're going to have a very busy next year. Ultimately, Amazon did not do a great job at publishing these games. I think they could have done worse. I think they could have gone with worse publishers. At the end of the day, I think both games only successfully achieved and had the momentum that they had because Amazon was backing them. They would have been vastly inferior with a proportionally smaller audience size if it was just Smilegate or just NCSoft that were publishing it. So you got to give them credit where credit is due, and that is that their reach was quite substantial, and they weren't the worst publisher that could have been chosen. I think this is much better, though, for both games. Having both developers take back full creative control of them, it means a faster content cadence. It means, hopefully, better communication, and maybe, with Throne and Liberty, fully synchronized everything. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment, so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.